Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Alex. Welcome to African Giant, aka AG, a platform designed to connect the diaspora with Africans and vice versa. I hope everyone's taking care of each other. I hope you're taking care of yourselves and each other as well too, both physically and mentally. And I hope you enjoy. As usual, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. And help me grow the network, and let's all do our part by raising awareness. So there's been a lot happening around the world, a lot of crazy things happening, and I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on some of the things that I've come across these past couple of days. But before we jump into that, before we jump into the juicy stuff, here's a quick update on my previous video that I did on the mistreatment of blacks and Africans in China. If you haven't seen it, wait till the end of the video. There's a link, you can check it out, or you can just go through the channel and check it out. So as a response to the outrage of what the Chinese are doing to blacks and Africans in China, their government has come out to deny the actions of their officials and their officers, and they pretty much don't think they're doing anything wrong. They're saying this whole thing is a lie and that the Western world is spinning it to look a certain way. But come on, man, like the evidence is there, the footage is there, it's all over social media. So apparently they are targeting only illegal immigrants and all foreigners. And we're not blind, like we're not stupid, China, like come on. The Chinese government would eventually do some damage control by accommodating the Africans that were being thrown onto the streets or being displaced. Western media outlets started to kind of shed a light on some of these things that were happening in China. So hey, maybe they went into panic mode and they're trying to save face. What I can say to that is exactly that. Like, we see through the lies and the deception, and whatever this small gesture of hospitality or kindness is, I think it's only there to serve to help clean up their image, and it's not sincere. Like, it's bullshit. I call bullshit on it. They're still oppressive, they're still racist, and these discriminatory practices need to stop. The response of most African countries have been mixed. Some countries hesitated to call out the Chinese government right away. But countries like Ghana and Kenya took swift action, and they started by summoning officials and issuing statements denouncing the discrimination of Africans in China. Others would eventually follow as the pressure to take action from the people that were taken to social media was rising. And like I said in my previous video, we can't paint all Chinese people with the same brush, but they must be held accountable. I know they paint us with the same brush. They think all black people are the same and they look down on us, but we need to hold them accountable for their actions. And just like any situation with anything or with anyone, if you're a bystander when something wrong is happening and you refuse to take action, and then you're just as guilty. So this is directly to the people in China. I know China's big on censorship and the people are heavily monitored and policed, but you have to stand up for what's right, and you can't just turn the other cheek to what's wrong, because it's happened to you before, and history hasn't been so kind to the Chinese. Even though there's been a response, Africans are still being discriminated against. They're still being denied access to stores and services, and many of them, even after they serve their 2 weeks in quarantine, and they serve out the quarantine period, they're still not free to carry out their day-to-day lives and activities, even if they have proper documentation. They're followed, they're detained, and abused by the local officials. And here are some of the videos showcasing this.
Well, I can go. Yeah, I can go in. They cannot. They can. Okay, check it. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, I cannot help you. Really. Oh my God.
So in the aftermath of all of this, there has been some retaliation by Africans against the Chinese foreigners in their countries. Some parts of Africa, they're being ridiculed, they're being kicked out of their stores, or they're also being denied access to services as well too. but this video of what the Guineans are doing in Guinea specifically stood out to me. And here's the clip. Take it in, and then we'll discuss my thoughts on it.
La solution autoritaire pour 5 minutes. Voilà. Comprendre qui est capable de faire. Voilà. Nous allons aller les écouter. D'accord. Si l'autorité n'a pas de solution, nous ne laisserons pas cette occasion à passer. Ouais. Nous prenons 10 sur lui. Allez, voilà, si nous les karaté, jusqu'au dernier, ils vont foutre local d'ici. Mais on a dit, on respecte la loi. Nous allons aller écouter l'autorité. Si l'autorité n'a pas de solution, ceux-là, tous ceux-là que j'ai vus avec les gourdins là, ne dormiront pas en Guinée.
So I don't know what to make of this video. My French sucks, but what I can say is that wow, this is rare. You don't see swift action like this when it comes to issues in Africa. There's a level and there's layers to all the bullshit that happens, but I'm impressed. The locals look united. They look very organized. And I think the rest of Africa can learn a thing or two from this example. Now, I know it may not be an easy thing to do, as every country's situation with China is different. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. Some governments are in bed with each other. But action must be taken regardless against injustices. How can you come to somebody's country? As an employer, you will employ the people, but you treat them like they're slaves. And not only do you treat them like slaves, you whip them. What's wrong? Like, how can you do that? You think we can go to China and do that to them? You would be locked up, you'd be tortured, you'd be killed. So what makes them think they can come to our countries and behave like this without being reprimanded for their actions? Like, we cannot be disrespected and treated like slaves anywhere in the world, especially in our own countries. And blacks are disrespected everywhere in the world, and we're seen as the lowest of the lowest. And the problems are numerous, but we must continue to say no to things like this. Black people need to stand together and fight back. Violence isn't always the best way to go, but we need to be taken seriously. It's crazy, but I commend the people in Guinea for doing something like this, and more Africans should take a stand like this. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's continue to connect with each other and look towards the motherland. Stand tall, stand proud, and it's your boy Alex, and hey, I'm just doing my part. Peace. Thanks.